Welcome back to the Jake Asman Show on the SportsMap Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage. Need a mortgage that fits your life? Rocket can.
Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Jake Asman.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts. For all your car care needs, you can get guaranteed low prices and excellent customer service at O'Reilly Auto Parts. O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day. It is pro day season, and it seems like every single day there's a new quarterback that just had the greatest pro day ever. Well, yesterday it was Justin Fields' turn to have the greatest pro day ever. So Fields ran a 4.44 at Ohio State's pro day. It's the fastest time for a quarterback prepping for the draft since RG3 ran a 4.41 in 2012. I really don't care about Justin Fields' 40 time. I really don't care about some of the throws he made against air. But what I do want to say is this. Justin Fields is going to be the steal of the draft by whichever team gets him. The idea that Justin Fields went from everyone saying he's going to challenge Lawrence this year to be the top pick, he's clearly the number 2 guy in this draft, to all of a sudden he might go behind Mac Jones and Trey Lance, to me is just insane. See, I think the Jets are going to take Zach Wilson. I've been steadfast on that this entire time. But the idea that Fields is going to be the 4th or 5th quarterback taken, I've never understood it. Justin Fields shredded better defenses than any quarterback in this class. Shredded them. Justin Fields is a sophomore in 2019, 41 touchdowns, 3 picks. So from that to this year in 8 games, 22 touchdowns, 6 picks, all of a sudden he's not any good? All of a sudden he can't play anymore? He's doing it at Ohio State. And I love what Fields said yesterday when he was asked about the Ohio State quarterback mantra. Oh, Dwayne Haskins wasn't any good. Cardell Jones wasn't any good. And Fields was like, with all due respect, I'm not those guys. And he's right. He's much better than those guys. Don't give me you can't draft the quarterback from Ohio State, Jake. They never work out. Yeah, how were Texas Tech quarterbacks before Patrick Mahomes? How were Miami of Ohio quarterbacks before Ben Roethlisberger? How were Purdue quarterbacks before Drew Brees? It's stupid. So the Chargers should not have drafted Justin Herbert because, Marcus Mariota didn't live up to being the number 2 pick. It's asinine when we use colleges as a reason not to take a prospect. Doesn't make any sense. Justin Fields will be the steal of the draft. I don't know if we'll be better than Lawrence or Wilson, but there's no rule that they all can't be pretty good. Right? Look at the 2018 class. Baker's pretty good. Allen's turned into an MVP caliber player. Lamar has already won an MVP. Sam Darnold, time will tell. And Rosen's been a bust. There could be more than one good quarterback from a class. So Justin Fields being, the 5th guy potentially taken, it makes no sense. If he slides down, whichever team drafts Justin Fields is getting a steal. The guy could play. I remember every expert telling us before the college football season that it's Lawrence and then a slight gap and then Fields who's going to push him this year. And then because Fields, he had a bad game against Northwestern. We're all out on Justin Fields. I don't care what he did against Northwestern when half of Ohio State's team was out with COVID. I look at what Fields did in the biggest game of his life against Clemson with a busted rib, and he throws 6 touchdowns against an NFL caliber team in Clemson. Bunch of NFL guys on that defense, and he shredded them. That showed me toughness. That showed me moxie. That showed me everything I want in a franchise quarterback. Some guys, they play hurt, they stink. He played hurt, and he was great. That's like Brett Favre. Like, that was epic from Fields, and that should be talked more about. Not his, performance against Northwestern. I mean, please. So, if I'm the Niners at 3, I'm taking Fields before I'm taking Trey Lance and before I'm taking Mac Jones. Now, I have said over and over, I trust Kyle Shanahan. What he wants to do, I will support. But on the outside looking in, if I'm making a pick, I'd rather Justin Fields. I wanted the Jets to take Fields until the Wilson hype kind of started. Now I'm like, all right, they want Wilson. I'm in. Bring me Wall Street Wilson or whatever else fellow Jet fans are going to be calling him. I don't know if I love that one, Ron, but you get the point. Whichever team gets Justin Fields, they're going to be getting a steal. They're going to be getting a player that is capable of being a franchise guy. Once again, Lawrence can go 1. Wilson can go 2. Doesn't mean that Justin Fields is going to be bad. And if you think about last year's quarterback class, Burrow went 1. Tua was the next quarterback taken at 5. Herbert went 6. Who had the best season last year out of any of the rookie quarterbacks? It was clearly Herbert by a lot. And remember what they said about Herbert? Oh, well, his senior year, it just wasn't as good as his other years, wasn't as good as his junior year. Kind of sounds like Justin Fields, doesn't it? Remember Deshaun Watson? We started to nitpick his game coming out of Clemson. The dude lit up Alabama in a national title game twice, and in the second time led a game-winning drive. And you had a team in Chicago take Mitch Trubisky, who had 1 year of starting experience, over Deshaun Watson. Makes no sense. No sense whatsoever. So I still think the draft goes Lawrence 1, Wilson 2. But if the Niners at 3 are sitting there and they pass on Fields, some team's going to get very, very lucky with that type of player that he is. I really think he's going to be just as good as any of these guys. I love his talent. I love his athleticism. He's your modern day quarterback. And some of the throws he made yesterday were just stupid. I get it. It's against air. But if we're going to, go goo goo gaga over Zach Wilson's throws, then we got to, do the same for Justin Fields. It's only right. Agree or disagree? 800-224-2004 is our phone number. You can tweet me. I'm on Twitter at Jake Asman. That's Jake Asman. What would you like the Niners to do at 3? Should they take Fields? And if you're a Jet fan listening, would you be okay if the Jets took Justin Fields with that second overall pick? I think most Jet fans want Wilson, but what if Fields became an option? So let's stay with Justin Fields here. This was Fields yesterday. He was asked how he thought his pro day went. This was the former Ohio State Buckeye quarterback.
Yeah, I think overall I had a solid day. Of course, I think everybody knows my goal in that 40-yard dash was at least to be in the 4.3s. But of course, I'm kind of mad about that. But other than that, I thought I threw pretty well. I thought I just had a few missed throws, but that happens. Every pro day is not gonna be perfect. So, but overall, I thought I had a pretty solid day.
Solid day indeed for Justin Fields. And at the same time Fields was having his pro day, Mac Jones was doing his in Tuscaloosa. And, there was one throw where he overthrew a receiver and they showed Kyle Shanahan's face right away. Remnant of the Super Bowl where Jimmy G overthrew Emmanuel Sanders that could have won them the game. That's cold. I'll say this, though. Just as I said with Kyle Shanahan, whoever he picks, I think if you're a Niner fan, you got to support that decision because Shanahan's such a good offensive coach. Let him pick his quarterback. He's not Adam Gase picking his quarterback. It's Kyle Shanahan. A little bit of a difference there. I think if you're the Jets at 2 and you like Fields, I got no issue if the Jets took Justin Fields. Now, Wilson's my guy. He's the preference, and I think they're going to go Wilson. But if you trust Joe Douglas, let him get his guy. And the Jets certainly are still evaluating these quarterbacks because they went to this pro day. They sent Douglas. They sent Mike LaFleur. They sent Saleh. They sent their assistant GM, Rex Hogan. So while I believe the Jets are going to be taking Zach Wilson, there's still a chance they're weighing the options on the quarterback. You never know what could come out between now and April 29th. What if there's some sort of medical red flag that emerges with Wilson? Do I think that will happen? No. You just don't know, which is why you do your due diligence. Salmon Jets 718 writes in, the Niners want a Frankenstein to run Kyle Shanahan's plays. The best, cheapest option was Darnold. Here's the thing. If you're going to go with Sam Darnold, you're taking too big of a risk when you still have Garoppolo on the roster. It just doesn't make sense. Because then eventually you got to pay Darnold a year from now. So Darnold never made any sense. If they were going to trade an asset, it was going to be to move up and get their guy. So Darnold to the Niners. I said it all along. I know we floated it out there as a possible trade scenario. Just never was realistic. And Sam didn't have a good enough year where I think the Niners would feel comfortable making that move. If this was 2 years ago, Sam came off that 2019 season where the Jets had a winning record when he played, then maybe it'd be different. But I never thought for a second the Darnold to the Niners stuff had any legitimacy. I thought Darnold to Pittsburgh made sense. Darnold to Indy made sense. Sam Darnold to the Bears, I thought made sense. Sam Darnold potentially to Carolina makes some sense if they can't figure out their quarterback situation. But I never thought the Niners were a legitimate option for Sam Darnold. Never thought for a second that'd be the case. The big question for the Jets and Darnold is this now. Are they going to have to settle for less of an offer because the market for him is drying up? I still think they could get a second-round pick for him. I still think there's going to be a team that will take a chance on Darnold, even as a backup for the year in case their starter gets hurt. But the market for Sam is clearly dwindling. I also wonder this. Could the Jets use Sam Darnold as a piece to move up in the draft? Right? The Jets are picking 23rd. They're going to take Wilson probably at 2. But if they like a guy, could they use Sam in the 23rd pick to really move back up with another team if there's a player they want? Could they do a Darnold trade that way? That's one scenario I'll throw out there at you as well. We'll take a quick break, talk college hoops with former NCAA men's head coach Pat Kennedy. Stay tuned. This is the Jake Asman Show. We're coming